wars and conflicts come and go because every crisis has a beginning as well as an end. For the crisis rocking the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, over disagreement between the Atiku and Wike camps, the end may come soon. The 14-member committee set up by the PDP presidential candidates Atiku Abubakar and Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike to reconcile their differences has begun work in Abuja. Atiku and Wike agreed to constitute the committee at a meeting in Abuja last Thursday in the residence of the former Minister of Information, Professor Jerry Gana. At the meeting, the two combatants agreed on the framework for resolution of their differences. If you watch the utterances of Nyesom Wike, he's not looking as if he's ready anytime soon to seek to the path of reconciliation. And if you see the demand from his camp, it's going to be extremely difficult for Atiku Abubakar to meet those four demands. Changing of Iyochia, getting a slot in their campaign organization, getting a slot if he wins the presidency, and what's the last one? I don't know. So, four crucial demands and major demands, and when you look at it, it's as if Wike knows that this is almost impossible for Atiku to meet, and still standing on that kind of agreement. And from the commissioning of its various projects and all the utterances and everything, it's as if he has got his mind made up.
Well, he's a politician, and one day is a long time in politics, as you know. 24 hours is a long time. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it's beyond reprimand, as they say in French. Because, yes, right now, the Wike camp are very adamant, especially on the first point. The last 2 points, of course, are provincial, in case he wins. So those ones can be ignored. But the one for the removal of the chairman, I agree with Wike totally. PDP is presenting a picture of a northern party. The chairman board of trustees is a northerner. The chairman of the party is a northerner. The president candidate of the party is a northerner. That is not a good optics for a national party. Now, Wike may not be sincere in making that demand, but I think that's the easiest one to do, as far as the candidate is concerned. First one, you can give them slots in your campaign. It's a campaign for the party. It's not a campaign for only one person. Those two original demands, I'm sure if they are met, Mr. Wike will have no choice but to reassess his position. Like I said, the other two are basically probatory. They are in the future. It's conditional. If the man doesn't win, those two will not come into play. But today, the two that can come into play, I think, in fairness, can be considered to Mr. Wike. Let Mr. Yu resign and let a southerner take charge of the party.
Was that the arrangement before the emergence? And if Wike had emerged as the presidential candidate, will he still be asking for this? And a lot of people will tell you that, look, that Wike is just a bad loser.
Well, if you look at the history of politics in Nigeria, like I told some people 3 weeks ago that if we have this arrangement, all those 3 topmost candidates, they are taking us back to 1979. 1979, in the UPN, we had Chief Obafemi Awolowo. In the NPP, we have Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. And in the NPN, we have Alhaji Shehu Shagari. At the end of the day, if this is the path they are taking us to, then unfortunately, it is only by a miracle that we can have a winner outrightly. And looking at the history of bargaining for power in Nigeria, I think when you look at antecedents of Wike, the reasons for this particular kind of conditions that cannot be met is not far from the fact that he wanted the Sada presidency. And like Gani said, if you make up a party, the whole structure of the party, the chairman of the party, the presidential candidate of the party comes from one part of the country, you're also sending a wrong signal. If the PDP had done the unthinkable by picking a Southerner as the presidential candidate, I am telling you, the nature of politics in Nigeria will have changed permanently. But because of this, I want to see the war beyond Wike. Yes, you may say that politics is about interest. It's personal. But at the same time, you see, when you see a leaf dancing on the surface of the water, the drama is beneath the water. Wike has certain things that is bargaining for. Don't forget that Wike took the federal government to court with the issue of VAT, and that is about federalism. So when we really look at it, PDP cannot eat their cake and have it. PDP has to stand up. I think the onus is on the fact that the party has been hijacked by a part of the country, and some people are kicking. We should not just malign Wike for standing for the right. Yes, you may say that you wanted to be president. How do you take a party, set up a committee of 17, and 14 out of that committee voted for the person that you drop? Only 3. It means when the person gets to power, he's going to behave the way he wanted. I think that is the message.
But the man denied it that never happened. Atiku Abubakar denied it. He's not aware of any meeting of 17 to 3.
He's aware.
It's aware.
He denied that did not happen.
If he's not aware, where are they pressurizing?
And we should all know, Abato, you've been covering politics for a long time.
Yeah.
It's the prerogative of the candidate.
We know it's the prerogative, but when you look at the country and you look at the scenario, the problem is that we talk about reality is different from ideas. We are talking about ideas.
Did Asiwaju Bola Tinubu look at the country and the scenario before choosing his deputy?
Whether you like
is it not the prerogative?
No.
I think you are shifting
politics is about give and take.
No, it's okay.
It's about give and take.
No, this is what really happened, as we know. 4 years ago, the Atiku Abubakar...
Okay, let's pick this call. Ikene is calling us from Inewi, that's in Anambra State.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, Ikene.
Yeah, I want to thank you for your program. I always follow your program. I want to please draw you people back to the issue of Ike Kuremadu.
All right, quickly, please.
Nigeria should learn from this very case, knowing that there is a country that always keeps law. There's a place where judiciary work, not just like Nigeria where they will hold one case or because the person is in power or because the person is holding one case. So the Igbo should allow the UK government to take care of the case, to follow it up. Not by saying that the government of Nigeria will come and intervene. What kind of intervene? They have their law and they have the way they follow their matter. So they should, they should stay clear and allow the UK government to take over the case and go let Ike Kuremadu face the case because the case happening in UK. Coming to Dave Umai, let Nigeria learn from this politics that is going on, that is playing on in Nigeria. Must you be a senator after being a governor for 8 years? You did not participate in the primary election, and you want to have the ticket of the Senate? Let INEC and the judiciary look into this matter, because if they do it, that means what the law that they have signed, that means it's not.
Thank you, Ekene. Thank you for your contribution, Ekene. So as we were saying, we're talking about this the People's Democratic Party and the impact. Now, all major parties now, they are setting up their national presidential campaign council ahead of September 28th kickoff date for campaign. And we've seen APC, they have something in place. And I've been told that the PDP is considering ceding that position of campaign chairman to the Southwest, DG to the Southwest, between Seyi Makinde and former Governor Oyinlola. But, because of the crisis within the PDP, they can't even come together, hold the national caucus meeting and the national working committee, because they feel that some faction might just ask for the exit of Iyorchia.
Yeah, I think the two things you have to understand is the fact that the Wike factor has become an albatross on the neck of PDP. Because I heard on TV the spokesman for PDP, this man from Ogun State, I've got his name, who was saying that who was dismissive of Wike, that the party is bigger than anybody and all that. Fine. But you and I know that a little bit of pepper can cause trouble for your whole body if applied to certain areas. So I think that's what Wike is trying, because this is an ego problem. It's about managing the ego of two men. I agree with you about Mr. Atiku Abubakar having the prerogative, because he tried it 4 years ago. He fell flat on his face. Remember when they picked the Peter
Just
Obi?
pick Peter Obi.
The
The likes of Senator Koreman, they weren't happy with that.
The
But
entire,
he reached
the
out to them
governors of the
ultimately.
cities were not happy, and they worked against the party. He was trying to avoid this time, but it's like a case of damn if you do and damn if you don't. Right now, what they need to do, like you said, is find a middle ground. And I think Mr. Ayu will be the sacrificial lamb.
In the interest
But
of the
Atiku
pa-
is
in
not
the-
ready
in
to
the interest
sacrifice
of the
it.
party.
Somebody
He
must.
said maybe after the election, Ayu can.
No,
but
because
right
let me
now,
have the
he
additional-
can't allow any of his general.
Ayo, after the election and the party
What
did
is
not
left?
win, there is no need for this problem. If they won, the problem here is that the president candidate can say, I want to keep my winning team. Either way, it's not a problem that you want to have when you are doing the president candidate of the party. I think what they need to do, and I think in the best interest of their party, is very clear. You must sacrifice somebody.
Do you think we are being fair to Atiku Abubakar here in the sense that if you, Tunde Abaton, you are the presidential candidate,
Yes.
and they ask you to choose between Okowa and Nyesom Wike in terms of character,
That's a third
in
person,
terms
no?
of somebody that you can go to bed with your two eyes closed, somebody that will be a loyal deputy to you, will you, in all consideration, look at the side of Nyesom Wike
I don't.
at the expense of
Ayo,
Ifeanyi Okowa?
I am matured and exposed enough to know that I don't judge the book by the
By the
cover.
cover.
I don't know. I have never been close to Okowa. Neither has ever been close to Wike. But what I know is that for anybody to nominate some people for me, I have to do a lot of work on them. And if anybody has no electoral value, I don't think you will take him.
And you were gunning
if
for the
Wike
same
has
thing. You were gunning for the same
look,
position.
If somebody has no electoral value, you will risk your life by taking him.
Okay, I have Ogbara calling us from Lekki.
Yeah, Ayo, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to Mr. Balogu and the other panelists.
Your
Okay,
Majesty.
Mr. Abaton, go ahead, please.
All right. Please, you can see that some of these our leaders has no country here. Nigeria is their office where they make money and go to their country. So NS and Igbo should leave British government to do their work. Among 36 states or the federation, there is no way they have equipped the hospital. There is no way they can do any surgery anywhere here. It's a shame. It's a shame. Nigeria is the office. They make money here and go to their country. They have a country somewhere. Concerning Wike, just forget about it. It's in the PDP. At the end of everything, you see him bounce back. We know him. Thank you.
Because yes, some people they've argued that look, Wike to be costly for Wike to leave the PDP. He has a candidate he wants to succeed him in Rivers State within the People's Democratic Party. That though he might remain in PDP, he might work against.
But the election
Well,
is
I
2
think
weeks after.
his constituency has a reason, and that reason is that he wanted to emphasize and display his interest and his power within the party. And that is allowed because it is about interest. At the end of the day, personal interest comes in. I think he wanted to get the best bargain in the party. And I think it is not too much for anybody who believes he has a stake in the survival of the party. The mere fact that there is still room for negotiations means that something can still body that is still willing. His doors are still open.
I will ask you the same question I asked you about.
Well, I know Mr. Wike, so I cannot deny that. And I know what you see is what you get.
He contested against Atiku Abubakar in this election.
Again, like I
and
said,
he lost
your
this
question
election.
was different.
And there's nowhere in the constitution that says if anybody contests against you and loses out, that you should placate the person with the position of vice presidency.
I think what really happened, if you are to take what the governor of Benue said, was the fact that they even went to Wike and asked him whether he would consider being a vice president candidate. That was they that convinced him. I didn't say that, that's Otton speaking. That's what he said. But like I said, with Wike, what you see is what you get. Ultimately, he may, in the interest of the party, backtrack, or he may not. But that's all up to Wike himself to decide. I don't think we should be, because it's this level of dismissiveness that allow people to dig deep and deep down.
And become unreading in their
because they just assume that
position.
people think,
So he has every
I'm
right.
a nobody. Let me show you that I'm a somebody. Like I said, the job for Atiku today is not about only uniting the party. It's making sure that those fringe elements that are going to cause trouble down the line are brought in under one umbrella, which is, of course, the party's symbol.
If Wike continues to romance the leaders of the People's Democratic Party, All Progressive Congress, would there be any hope for reconciliation? And you are commissioning projects, you are doing it day in, you are inviting the speaker, you are inviting Governor Sanwo-Olu just to pepper the
well, in international relations, whenever any country is threatening your interest, you show your power. Like what they did for Saddam Hussein. They sent all the armory, all the aircraft lifters, just to show him that, look, we are capable of taking action. Perhaps he will have a change of mind. I think what Wike is doing
show
is to show the...
show of force.
Yes. So what Wike is doing is that I have enough armory, I have enough liberty, I have enough something behind me. And like I said, in politics, everybody is important. He's trying to show the person that he is. And because it is also about personal interest at the end of the day, he's using all the arsenals in his power to bargain much. Because even when the election takes place and the party should lose, if the party can win, nobody can guarantee that he will be given anything.
I don't think.
So, two-case scenario. Can Atiku Abubakar, with Atiku Abubakar decide as a party leader to call the bluff of Wike, or maybe go ahead to suspend Nyesom Wike as a member of the People's Democratic Party, will heaven fall?
No, I think this is the last-ditch effort to avoid that, really. I think what they are doing now is to do everything they think they can do that is humanly possible, to do the placation, and then come back and say, well, after this, I think the gloss will be off. And everybody has
What will be the implication? Worst-case scenario?
Worst-case scenario, they could lose. And then that will be the X factor. Don't forget the X factor of the 5 governors that left PDP in 2015. To what happened to the Buhari presidency. They are trying to make sure this is not the X factor that will cause them the election.
Because when you look at the figures that INEC released, and when you look at Rivers is like this, the second biggest state in the southern part of the country, after Lagos.
After Lagos, yes. No.
I don't also forget there's a third party that can also eat into the votes of that area. If it's a 2-horse race,
it's so clear.
I'll tell you that they can dismiss Wike's threats and simply go with whatever they want to. But now they have another threat, chipping away at their heels. And they don't want to have an open house where they thought was a stronghold of the party. But like I said, if the conciliation does not work, I think the party and Wike will have to remove the gloves and go to full brawl.
What can be the worst-case scenario?
Well, the worst-case scenario is that should Wike live to his threats and body language that we can all see, what it means is that that race for 2023, nobody can determine it. Because like he said, in Rivers State, even in the South, from where Wike comes from, they have the elements of Southeast people there. So people can make up their mind what to do. But what I keep on telling you is that in the southern part of Nigeria, majority of people want power to stay in the south. So I don't really know how PDP they are going to do it, except they pacify Wike one way or the other. We have to know that.
So that's to pacify
from the southern part of the country, people want power to come back to the south. And the fact that Atiku Abubakar happens to be a Fulani man, whether you like it or not, people are not so disposed towards handing over to another person.
People in the south.
In the southern part of the country. I have no personal grounds. We are just analyzing. We have to be genuine. We have to be sincere. And we have to look at things the way they are. That is the truth of the matter.
Ultimately, Nigerians will decide.
Nigerians have to take it.